Hello Gerg. To start off, I would like to thank you for taking your time covering my video. It pains me you spent the first 4 minutes slandering my character.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
You don't know YouTuber Pixul, who made the incredibly long Gerg video, recently responded to Gerg's response about 12 days ago now. You probably didn't see it because it really didn't get too much attention. Now, after I covered Gerg's response to the Kiwi Farms stuff in the comment section of a video that went over his response, I wasn't really planning on continuing to cover the situation, but people suggested that I should check this video out, and I'm glad they did, because this response to Gerg's response is absolutely abysmal. Let's dive into this incredibly rushed and clearly half-hearted response to Gerg's video.
Hello Gerg. To start off, I would like to thank you for taking your time covering my video. It pains me you spent the first 4 minutes slandering my character by criticizing my editing.
At the very least, I can do it in less than an hour and 10 minutes. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Scripting.
So this video about me, despite already being erroneously long,
Avatar. And former content.
like the guy who makes on average like 3 crappy Roblox videos a year,
Genuinely baffles me why Pixul decided to complain for 30 seconds at the beginning of this video that Gerg took some pot shots at him and his YouTube channel. There are more important things to talk about, and Gerg actually says some more damning stuff about Pixul in the beginning of this video. Like when he accused him of lying about being the inspiration for his YouTube channel. This is something that isn't actually mentioned in the video, and Pixul explained why in the comments. Said, and I quote, "Why didn't you mention the inspiration section? It's irrelevant to the actual claims I made, but if you want more proof, I have more screenshots saved from our DMs." You know what is relevant enough apparently? The random pot shots that Gerg took at this guy's YouTube channel at the beginning of the video. If you want to talk about this guy trying to discredit you, surely you would bring up the claim that, you lied about something and try and immediately disprove that, but apparently that's not relevant enough. But again, talking about some pot shots made against your YouTube channel and avatar are. Let's be real here, it has nothing to do with the relevance. It's the fact that if this guy covers a point about him apparently lying, and that is actually the case, it discredits other things he said and makes him an untrustworthy source.
It's upsetting you choose to focus on white lies to discredit my character further, painting me as untrustworthy.
Makes his point about Gerg trying to paint him out as untrustworthy, but doesn't point out something where Gerg accuses him of being a liar. Surely you'd want to say that, that's a lie to paint him as an untrustworthy figure, but apparently not. That's what tells me that, in my opinion, I do believe that this guy actively lied about the whole inspiration thing, and I think it sets a bad precedent that the guy just didn't even bother to mention it in the beginning of this video when his whole point is Gerg trying to make him look untrustworthy, and, he mentions a couple of pot shots about his YouTube channel, but not a claim where, Gerg's literally calling him untrustworthy by calling him a liar.
Before diving into your allegations, gives the audience a wrong impression of me. Unfortunately, you missed a few claims in my video. This is Gerg's Kiwi Farms.
Let's make this clear, Gerg actually did respond to the Kiwi Farms thing several days before this video even came out under a video going over his response, whilst ultimately he should have put it in his response video, or at least put it on his community tab if he didn't want to put that type of content in his response video to a bunch of children. Ultimately, he should have addressed it on his channel in some way, shape or form instead of the comment section of an individual. But let's not sit here and act like this guy didn't cover it. Look, I'm going to give Pixul the benefit of the doubt here and be a bit more lenient on him. Ultimately, this is something that might have just simply slipped through the cracks and something that he might have just genuinely missed. Ultimately, it was on a video that didn't get too much attention and has now been unlisted. But you would think that if I, a random slop tuber who doesn't have too much attachment to the situation, can find this response, that Pixul, the guy who made an hour-long video on Gerg, would be able to find it too.
Why are you clearly being transphobic? In this post, you call a transgender person an H player and a T-slur. In this post, you call a transgender YouTuber autistic, the T-slur several times, and misgender them. In another post, you say Finster, a transgender influencer, is not a woman, and so much more. If you have any doubts that this is not Gerg's account, in this post he sends a picture of his Discord DMs in which you see his profile. In another post, you see Gerg being happy about being mentioned. Another screenshot with Gerg's profile picture.
I'm not going to sit here and relitigate this whole section because ultimately by the time this video was even posted, this section was already out of date since Gerg had already responded. Gerg's response is coming up on screen if you would like to read it. Ultimately, it'll be on saying that this is a bad response. There's just really not much you can do here because Gerg has now addressed it.
Oh, and in this video, what's this here? The Kiwi Farms logo in your bookmark bar. He continues this on Our Drama, where everyone recognizes him as Gerg. Here in this post, he continues being transphobic, but he doesn't leave his focus on transgender people. In your video, you mentioned your Technoblade tweet and how you were unaware of the situation. Quote, "How long will you dance around a corpse for money?" Well, your post on Our Drama shows otherwise. You were aware of who Technoblade was, that he died of cancer, how Tommy Innit was a close friend of Technoblade, and it was a charity stream. You lied about everything just to start drama.
Now, Gerg's response to the whole Technoblade stuff was actually something that I criticised in my video going over his response. When it comes to if he knew about it or not, the only thing that I would focus on here is the fact that, if he did know, he just actively lied about it in his response. Ultimately, I think either way, it makes him look bad. The fact that you wouldn't watch a video before making a pretty serious claim about something and or a joke is pretty damning to me in the first place and paints Gerg's character out pretty nicely. And if the guy just did it for Twitter bait and likes and attention and did watch the video, then that paints him out in pretty much the same light. Regardless if he did watch the video or didn't watch the video before making that post, either way it's heavily criticisable action, and the only difference would be the fact that he actively lied to cover up the fact that he did know, which again would be another critique. But ultimately, since he has rectified the Technoblade thing and donated money to a charity in Technoblade's honour. So at this point, again, whilst it's something that is definitely criticisable and that action doesn't take away from what he did, he has tried to rectify his decision here.
Now, dear viewer, after having covered all of this, do any of the 3 other claims Gerg respond to actually matter? The Pigger joke, Gerg World, and the incel dating app allegations are nothing compared to these.
Now, to me, whilst I don't think the Pixul had to cover everything that Gerg said in his video, Pixul's video is 4 minutes responding to a 10-minute long response. You would think that ultimately he would just cover everything in his own response to Gerg's response instead of doing things like this. To me, it comes off that this response was rushed to try and get ahead of the curve when it came to Gerg's video. To me, this response just feels lazy, ill-informed, and pretty rushed. Further only suggested by the giant comment he left mentioning some things that he didn't mention in the video, which ultimately you'd think that he would have just included in his 4-minute response.
Let's continue with the other claims. I'll briefly cover the next claim. Gerg defended it by questioning why he would take the image.
Why would I take a screenshot of this and then willingly distribute it to Twitter drama accounts? It doesn't make sense.
However, he has already displayed edgy and hateful behavior in the past, which would explain why he took the screenshot in irony, for his friends to later poke fun at, as seen here. He said it himself that he and his friends make fun of each other.
We just speak to each other like that. We're just mean. It's how we roll. We're pricks, I guess.
There is also evidence that the message was sent and quickly deleted, something he neglected to mention, further proving the message is real. Gerg then defends this by throwing his old friend Bishop under the bus and exposing him while he was at his lowest.
Look, I'm not going to personally sit here and moral grandstand over Gerg being a bit edgy with his friends or crashing out and being a bit edgy. Ultimately, that's not something I'm going to do because that's a waste of my time. If you want to say that Gerg has done some hateful conduct, you focus more on the comments that he's made about trans people, which I think are personally more damning and have more nuances to them. The comments that he made about trans people are ultimately worth talking about. Sitting here and talking about his edgy instances in a Discord server, not so much though.
You should go. I fucking tried to fucking emotionally open up to you, and all you did was fucking cut me off. You should fucking kill you.
Bishop was not involved in the drama. Instead, head admin Uki and moderator Lolbit came out with everything. If all of that still wasn't enough, Gerg then goes to my mutuals directly, not only insulting them while being transphobic, but also sharing illegally taken photos of transgender people without their knowledge or consent.
Now look, I made it pretty apparent that I personally don't trust Pixul at this point due to several lies that I believe he has told and how he has obfuscated certain things in this video. But ultimately, if this actually is the case and this claim is something that Gerg has done, this is disgusting and something that deserves to be criticised and called out. There is no place for this type of behaviour on the internet. I think everyone can agree with that, or at least realise that this is wrong regardless of your beliefs.
So your biggest problem is that you can't keep your mouth shut from writing paragraphs and constantly sharing private stuff, sort of like with your incel dating website. Maybe you should solve it by not apologizing, preferably not even acknowledging it, and continue uploading videos. And defend yourself on obscure tertiary platforms, such as Discord. That way you can say you did it, while the natural spread to normal fans is limited.
Now, of course, Pixel's response doesn't stop there, because for whatever reason, he thought instead of actually adding a bunch of the points in this video, he should just put them in the comment section instead. Where do you get Gerg's background information from? I've spoken to 3 to 4 of Gerg's longtime friends. He's even told me himself he has a college degree in computer science. How do you know I hate rude people is Gerg? A close friend of mine present in these spaces, Weber, which I've known for 5+ years, forwarded this to me. I trust him completely as everything he told me about Gerg was correct. I'd love to give Pixel the benefit of the doubt and assume and hope that, after this guy Weber forwarded him this information, he then went around and tried to fact check this said information instead of just blindly running with it at face value. But at this point, I have absolutely zero idea if that would be something that Pixel would even do. 2, Gerg's character already shows he is hateful towards transgender people. 3, apparently these pictures were shared in some place called Anoncraft. Not sure how true that is, but I've heard of it before. Due to popular demand, I've added my sources to Kiwi Farms and r/drama in this doc. Gerg has since deleted all his comments and posts on our drama that I showed in the video. I do not condone the use of the platform, proceed with caution. To add on to all of this, 5 big questions remain. Why did Gerg not mention Kiwi Farms in his response? Again, I personally think this is funny because by the time this comment was made and this video was released, Gerg had already addressed this and explained why he didn't address the Kiwi Farms stuff in his video and then actually ended up addressing the Kiwi Farms stuff in full in a comment section. Ultimately, again, I'm going to give Pixul the benefit of the doubt and be lenient here, but I do find it funny that this guy has apparently zero idea that Gerg has actually said something about the Kiwi Farm stuff. Why did Gerg not talk about the R-drama and the Technoblade tweet being made while he knew who Tommy and Technoblade were? Why did Gerg delete his R-drama post after I uploaded this video? Why did he not talk about the deleted messages regarding the N-word? Why did Gerg not contact me? I explicitly invited him to talk with me about all the drama. I would have even defended him if everything he brought me some evidence. Instead, I had a video barely talking about the allegations and attacks on my channel. I find this an incredibly baffling point because Gerg has no obligation to reach out to this guy after we made an hour-long video on him. He can respond however he sees fit. If that was by making a video and not responding to the guy, that's his prerogative at the end of the day. There's no intention where he actually has to reach out to this guy to talk to him about the drama where he posted the hour-long video in the first place. To be clear, I'm not a Gerg hate channel. The goal of the original video was to document his allegations and do background research of all of his accounts behind the scenes. This is the last video about Gerg unless he decides to assassinate my character more and continue to lie about his allegations. He did say one more thing in a reply to another comment which I just had to mention here. And again, show us his friend's messages that you got the background information. This is such a sloppy work, man. Come on, even the people who call EDP445 at first did much better job than this. He responds by saying, sorry to hear my evidence was not up to your standards, though I believe what I show in my original video and this one are correct. I'll take your feedback into account for the next videos in the future. Well, Pixul, as long as you think all the information you included in your videos is correct, that's all that matters then. Fuck any criticism. Simply put, this is a crap response that leaves out several things. Claims that, you know, Gerg's trying to paint him in a trustworthy light, but doesn't mention the main thing that would paint him in an untrustworthy light, because it would indeed paint him in an untrustworthy light, and he relegated that to the comments and said that, you know, that wasn't really relevant, but apparently things like, you know, Gerg taking potshots at his channel were relevant enough to mention in the video. Response ultimately isn't entirely honest, has made me doubt Pixul even more than I originally did, and is a bad response to ultimately a decently middling response in the first place. Ladies and gentlemen, some of your viewers, what do you think about this? What's your thoughts on this response? Please feel free to comment down below, and watch the other also subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content. But I'm your host Samuel, you've been watching Slobmeal, and I will catch you in the next YouTube video. Goodbye.